Hey everybody, this is Travis from The Rest of the Story. I'm working here in the shed and I got to thinking about my grandma. I thought that since you guys got a story about my grandpa, I figured it was only fair that we talked about grandma a little bit. I know she'd appreciate it. So my grandma was a little bitty woman. I would say I don't think she hardly came up to my chest. But this little lady actually milked cows for the biggest share of her life, as in pretty well all of it. I'm actually the one that took over milking from her. She broke her wrist, she got kicked across the barn, and cow caught her just right. Didn't actually hurt her when it kicked her because it kind of scooped her up. It was the landing that ended up hurting because her wrist hit the concrete and it kind of, yeah. But moving on from that, my grandma, around here, my grandparents came from an age where you ate 3 square meals a day. No excuses, no exceptions, nothing. Well, granted, breakfast and supper really didn't matter, but lunch, that was an interesting ordeal around here because when it come to fieldwork time, like this time of year right now, you ate lunch. It got brought to you in the field, and Grandma was the one that would bring it to us because normally we'd have me, Dad, and Grandpa all in the field. Typically, later on, it was Ryan with us too. But granted, my grandma, this little lady, she would bring out the farm truck and bring us burgers. Well, you always knew to watch for between 12 and 12:30 in the afternoon. I mean, like clockwork. She always started with whoever was closest to the buildings and she'd work out. Well, when we'd be planting corn, you'd always watch for the blue pickup. That same truck that my parents have that's running around here, you guys have seen numerous times. That is what my grandma would use to bring us lunch. Now, Grandma just saw over the steering wheel in the truck. Little bitty lady, full-size 3/4 ton pickup, coming across the field. And the reason that you would watch for Grandma is because she would drive to you, wherever you were in the field. Hay ground, chiseled ground, oat ground. Granted, she didn't normally always cut straight across the field, but she'd make a beeline almost directly to you. So you always made sure that you stopped if you saw her coming, because you never wanted to give her a reason or make her have to drive across the chisel ground, because she would do it, because she's going to get lunch to you, because heaven forbid anybody goes hungry around here. That never happened with my grandparents, ever. That actually got you into trouble at times if you didn't eat lunch. You made the mistake of, if we were working at one of the other farms and it would be 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and you made the mistake. Did you guys eat dinner? No, that was usually your critical mistake for the day, because you did not want to ever say that you did not eat, because you would be going to the house and you would be eating something for dinner. It says it didn't matter when, you are eating 3 meals a day. That was just my grandma. She lived on the farm her whole life. Even when she was a child, she was a farm girl. Met my grandpa. They continued farming. They started farming together all the way up until she passed. And she enjoyed her life as far as I could tell. Anybody else, you wouldn't know, because Grandma was hands down the sweetest, kindest, most soft-spoken person you would ever meet. I say we all loved her. Say the only time in my 20-some years that she ever raised her voice, say it floored all of us, because Grandma, even from my dad, my parents, and she never talked much. She was very soft-spoken, and that one time, I can't even tell you what she said. Heck, it wasn't even anything like mean or degrading. I think she was I think she was acknowledging Grandpa because Grandpa was the other end of the barn, and she raised her voice so he could hear her. Never seen Grandma do that before, and it was just like, oh, that loud voice came out of that little woman. But I don't know, unfortunately, the older you get, guys, your memories of your grandparents, they start to fade. People that you grew up with that may no longer be here, and I don't know, I try to think about my grandma and grandpa as much as I can. I lost my grandma on my dad's side when I was in middle school, and as far back as I can remember, they were good memories. I don't have any negative memories about either of my grandmas, and enjoy them while you got them. Grandparents aren't around for forever, people, so enjoy it while you can, because I grew up for a fair amount of my life where I had both my grandma and grandpas on both sides, and I had my great grandma on my one side, and then it seems like once one passed, it seems like we lost them fairly quick. It was right after the other. So say, because my grandpa Keen, he only lasted, that's not really fair to say, but 14 months after my grandma passed, my grandpa followed behind her. And those were some really, really hard 14 months, because I heard on a weekly basis how much my grandpa missed my grandma. It was really hard to see that. I think my immediate family are the only ones that really ever saw that. It's kind of sad. It's very depressing to see somebody who spent every waking day and moment with my grandma. I mean, they were always together. They never worked very far apart. I think the only time they were ever really apart was when they were in the field, or Grandpa was in the field. Way back when, my grandma did run the farm equipment too, but with my dad coming up and helping more, and the grandkids, and Grandma really didn't do as much. She did more of the dairy side of it, the cattle side of it, the bottle calves. I mean, for such a little woman, she would easily do the work of 5 people. I am not exaggerating when I say that. Say that woman was a workhorse, and you would never guess it for how small she was. But she could work me and my brother, my dad, my sister, my mom, Grandpa, under the table. Hands down, I'm not exaggerating. See, that, I don't think she knew the word quit. Say Ryan did a video on how farms work about talking about Grandma, and he wasn't exaggerating. She was in the barn at 80 some years old stacking small square bales. That's just because we didn't see her climb in the barn when we were throwing them in, because we were just throwing them in to pile them. So we were throwing them in pretty quick for a couple of teenagers, and yeah, my grandma was up there, but she ended up stacking like 60, 70 bales by the time we realized that she was up there, because I thought she was up in my house yard. She was looking at the flowers. So no, I'm not exaggerating. I imagine a lot of people out there probably say something similar or have similar stories about their grandparents. Hard work was always imprinted in my grandma's brain. She did an awful lot of work the hard way, and she never complained, ever. I think the only time I ever heard her complain is when it was 100-some degrees out, and we had to get out of the pickup once because the truck had air conditioning, and we had to go make fence. So, no. My grandma and grandpa both, they worked all up, clear up into their 80s. Say they didn't slow down until the very end, and I love them. I know my family misses them. I wish I would have spent more time with both my grandmas, more than I did. Granted, as a young kid, I spent a lot of time at the farm with my grandma. My grandma actually watched all 3 of us, my brother and sister, quite a bit when we were younger. Dad would bring us to the farm, and then Grandma would keep an eye on us, make sure we weren't doing anything or getting into trouble. So I spent a lot of time in the house with Grandma, so yeah. Alright, I'm going to have to end this before I get too depressed. Take care, take it easy. I hope this video is worth a watch. I got more stories. Not necessarily about my grandma and grandpa, but I don't know. I might start doing some story time videos here and there, throwing them in. So I got this planner sitting behind me that I'm going to do some work on, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing on that. So, well, take care, take it easy, keep in touch. Check out my Facebook and Instagram. The weather, as you guys can see, the sun is shining. It is awesome out. Say it gives you that motivation to actually want to work again, and it's not 30-some degrees out and you freeze to death going from the truck to the shed. So, I'll catch you next time.